Hi and welcome. It's new release day at Technique Junkies, and I have a quick and beautiful card that features the new bird and poinsettia border stamp, as well as the Light of Faith sentiment stamps. Let's get started. These high quality red rubber stamps are part of the new release for October 2021. These stamps that are part of the new release are on sale from October 1st through October 8th at 15% discount. That is all the new release stamps on sale. There's also a Gotta Have It All bundle, which is discounted for those of you who, like me, have fallen in love with all of the stamps in this new release. Speaking of all of the stamps in the new release, please join me tonight on my YouTube channel, that's right here, where I will be doing a live broadcast unveiling all of the stamps that are part of this new release. That will be tonight, October 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss my live, don't worry. The replay will be posted on my YouTube channel. But I hope to see you tonight. I think you're going to really love the new release from Technique Junkies. Whenever I get a nice detailed stamp like this, I like to use my markers to basically stamp with markers. What I'm doing is I have these dual art markers from Amazon, which they are extremely inexpensive. They are a felt tip ink marker, and the ink is a dye-based ink. So they're not going to stain your stamp in any way. They will come clean with just a little bit of water and maybe a little bit of mild stamp cleaner. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at the image, which is the artwork that accompanied my stamp that came with the packaging, and I'm using that as my guide. That's helping me to determine what is the pine bough and what is the poinsettia and what is the bird and what is the pine cone and what is the berry, and etc. This is the easiest way I've found to add some color to a very highly detailed stamp that features this type of detailed line art. You could certainly stamp it with black ink and then color over it. I just like the look of this. And as I said, I have done this type of stamping with markers before. So I just wanted to remind everybody that in the description box, you will find my discount code for Technique Junkies, which is TJ10 Tracy. If you use that code, you will save 10% off. That doesn't apply to the new release during October 1st through the 8th because they're already discounted at 15% off automatically. But it does apply to anything else that you would purchase. So any other stamps or shimmering bliss sprays, that are available at Technique Junkies, you could use my 10% discount code. Also, down in the description box, I will have links to the new stamp release, as well as links to the specific stamps that I used in this video. This does take a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it in the end. It just looks so detailed, and because you're just following along with the artwork, you don't have to worry about too much shading or anything like that, because the way that the artist has drawn the stamp, for lack of a better way of explaining it, it already has all those highlights and lowlights built in. I'm going to fast forward this for the sake of time, because throughout this video, I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm just using different colored markers. I use a nice green for the pine boughs. I have a nice red color. I would say it's almost a pinkish red color for the poinsettia plant, and so on. And you can use any markers that you have in your stash. Like I said, these are called dual art markers. They have two tips. One has the felt brush tip, and the other has a line, sort of a bullet tip, a very fine point bullet tip. So in some ways, I guess they remind me of the Arteza real brush markers, but this tip is just a little bit firmer and works great for coloring on top of this, high quality, deeply etched red rubber stamp. So basically that's it. Grab your markers, even if they're Crayola markers, that'll work, and go to town coloring your stamp. It creates a very soft look. I like the way that it looks. And I think this card turns out really pretty in the end. Okay, so let's jump forward to the finished card panel. Now you see how I have colored this, and it really does look very nice. I spray my stamp with a little bit of water, and then I stamp it onto a blank panel. And depending on how much water you use and how much marker remains on the red rubber stamp, you can get a pretty cool impression as a second generation stamping off. I'm just using a black marker to define some of the shapes that may have been distorted a little bit because I used a little bit too much water, I guess, when I did this. And that's not hard to do, to be able to fill in with your fine tip of your marker. But I think this is looking pretty good. Okay, so we have our coloring done. I'm going to use my anti-static powder bag, which I use when I emboss. And I'm using Versa Fine Clair Acorn ink. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment. It is from the Light of Faith. It says, "Wishing you holiday joy." I'm going to heat emboss that with some clear embossing powder. That's what's nice about Versa Fine Clair inks. They are a pigment ink that stay wet enough that you can stamp them and then you can emboss them. So I put the powder back. This is Wow clear embossing powder. I grab my heat gun and apply heat to this panel, melting the embossing powder and creating a beautiful shiny sentiment right on this card panel. You'll see that I cut this card panel using a die that reminds you of a postage stamp. And now I'm applying rhinestones. So I'm applying a black rhinestone to the bird's eyeball. And then I'm applying 3 other rhinestones that are red to the middle of the flower. And after I complete that, then my work is done. Thank you all very much for watching. Leave a comment. I appreciate all your comments and read every single one of them, and just love that you take time out of your day to say something about my video. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. I do provide video tutorials using Technique Junkie stamps throughout the month. So let's go ahead and have a look. Here we have this beautifully colored, I think, card. And basically it's the same card, it's just a different background. Thanks so much for watching. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.